The ketamine state. Yo, what's going on? It's someone that's no one, and welcome back to today's report. Today's report was sent in by How. The drug used was ketamine, dose somewhere around 190 milligrams. The route of administration was insufflation, and the gender is male. So this is a pretty classic K-hole experience, and it is told from a certain standpoint, verbatim, written down. So I'm going to be pretty much saying some of these type sentences where it won't make sense. They're not words to a certain standpoint. I'm just letting you guys know. Some of it looks like keyboard mashing and just whatnot. So I'll be reading those out. And How does have a reflection on this too. So it is a really interesting report. I know you guys are going to like it. And without further ado, let's dive right into it. Start 21:18. Approximate 100 milligrams insufflated. 1 minute in. 21:19. Slightly uneasy from the process, but feel the loose feelings associated. Drip starts. Ew. 4 minutes in. 21:22. Drip is passing. Carpet starts to breathe and form small E8 patterns. I'm wondering if this will be enough. I still have another approximate 90 milligrams, maybe more. 5 minutes in. 21:23. Can really feel the drug taking a hold of me. 21:26. Feeling very with it. Still uncertain whether I will break through. Though typing in covers seem to be more subtle and slow, I feel every iota of movement as I type and watch these words on the keyboard. I'm almost mesmerized even when just typing things out. I'm getting the acid warp and E8 textures much more vividly now. 21:28. There are feeling and vision of hard metallic movement, almost like a pendulum. When I have closed-eye visuals of rough metallic shapes, I decide to take a rest. 21:34. Typing. Feeling super stupid, but I keep semicolon, dig over and over again. This time, SRT, capital BGE, shit, I, capital DOB, period, capital KRSDNG, comma. Wow, that second hit was more worse. Music is rather unpleasant. 22:28. Nubzus is scattered. Think I've been in the hole. Folding. The universe, if fueled by your thoughts. You know the pavilion? I feel like one of the glass cranes with the door. So little time has passed, but it feels like a lifetime. I can't properly look at anything apart from my keyboard. It keeps me centered. On reflection. This experience, like many others, probing further questions to my troubled thoughts. By troubled, I'm referring to the problems arising when unpacking some ideas or questions. Going into this space was as though being sailed through clouds towards floating architecture. These ketamine states for me have no entity, just questions in polymerizing form from nothing. Although these spaces are ambiguous in nature, constantly redefining themselves into new ventures, they have a regimented sense to them, creating scenes from memory or rather aspects of them. Ketamine is a useful tool for easing your psyche into these states. Unlike other psychedelics, there isn't a worry or battle associated with the trip. Ketamine is a toe dip into these experiences. Experiments into these induced states permits people to view things in any order of ways. For me, these tools are to be revered, loved, and argued with. It is the doctrine of our humanity that we abide by the logic laid out by the world we consume. The next trip is a reflection post-trip regarding esoteric conclusions on consumption. As we are so physically disconnected from other alien life forms, it is fair to assume that we are the sole species inhabiting this universe, or at least one of a handful, but would probably never reach another through the vast gaps between space and time, Fermi. Through the archaic actions of entropy versus complexity, it would be fair to assume that the connections between the physical natural world and the sciences would be through this understanding. We are the comedy that feeds the universe. Our bodies are systems, essentially designed for the excretion of one matter to another. We even do this with knowledge. So be it not fair that the drastic rise in population and our ever more consuming society that we inevitably feed and therefore feed the universe. It is now known that our brains operate in higher dimensions, higher than we can perceive. The prospect of a unity between the science and nature commingled with the human species would result in a utopia, if it's so bold to say. And when it comes to creativity or your sub-presence to people, you will find that there is an exo-language which interacts between this physical layer and something altogether unworldly. The extension of our being is through mind and death. Our extension of our physical world is through our actions. We are not meant to comprehend some things that reside between different harmonious rungs of the universe. So through this all unknowing, there really should be a prospectus or something. We ultimately need to devoutly follow our innate connection, being and place within the universe, adverse to what we have imposed on it. These distinctions will define us in the later part of even this century the way we're going. As it's a risque subject, psychedelics are frowned upon in general society. I will refrain from getting too woo-woo with this, if I haven't already, but I can confidently say that our connection with consuming these tryptamines, our deliriants, or what have you, that we soon become embroiled in this demanding place of lucidity. And by that I mean, when you're there, you're there. Through my experimentations with these states and readings, I have glimpsed this folding, interacting sub-narrative that the drug, our mindset, can bring to the listener. What we consume permeates throughout the multiverse. Consume the right things.